Well, hello, my YouTube friend. It's been quite a while, my friend, since my last video. And tonight, for the newest, I am absolutely pleased to present you this knife from a fellow French knife maker, Mr. Jerome Hovaere, who is, I wouldn't say underrated, one of the most underrated, but one of the few knife maker that needs to be more, to have more fame that he actually has now, and he will actually. I'm quite certain that not after this vid, but in a way, he will get the fame that he deserves because he's producing knives that are just stellar. And just the last year, he was not able, to provide as he wanted the knife that he was supposed to build, because he had, some issues that are now solved, and now he has his shop, and he will make, more and more knives. And for those of you knife nuts that are interested in knife, you will be crazy about this guy. Now look at that. Of all people, you have here a Frenchman that does one of the most tactical knife I've ever seen. It could have been done, this knife, by one of the best, probably, tactical knife maker in the industry in United States. But here it's done by a French knife maker, who usually, I would say, at the exception of Emmanuel Lebrun for Elb knives, usually we don't think as French knife makers usually as tactical knife maker, probably more like traditional knife makers, but not tactical. But look at that. That's just insane. Let me try, to have some coherent thought and saying about this knife. So let's start with the handle, shall we? First of all, we have here an integral. How many people can achieve integral with such perfection? Not a lot, actually, not a lot. So you all know what an integral is, for sure. It's a huge piece. It's a piece of titanium drilled inside, milled inside, and it's one piece. Actually, the handle is just one piece of titanium, as you can see, just milled inside, and the cut here for the lock. So this integral, it's really not that easy to achieve. We have some makers that does that really nicely, but to me, probably Jerome would be one of the best in the market for integral now. He's very young, and believe me, he's gonna rise and rise and rise, and you might consider getting one of these knives now before his waiting list will go over, I don't know, 2 years. I see him becoming the new Dalibor, I would say. I'm sure that his knife will be way anticipated whenever you guys will have the opportunity to have one of those beauty, those splendor in hands. And again, you will be happy with this because you will have everything that you are used to expect from a tactical knife. So again, let's go for the handle. We have talked. I told you that it's integral. Look at the beauty of this work here. He thought of that, Jerome is an artist. He thought of this knife as an animal, and here he wanted to reproduce like the spine, of this animal, and the effect is just stunning. And you have here also, like the spine here also on the blade of this beast, whatever beast you want to think of, an alien, something like that. But really, believe me, it reminds me a little bit of the work of Salmonaro on his handle, on the Stingray. And if I compare that to Salmonaro, you can you can bet that I have really high consideration for Jerome's work, because to me Salmon Arrow is the quintessence. Quintet, I don't know. It's the pinnacle, the pinnacle, whatever you want to call it, of knife makers to me. So, very nice handle. Look at that also. You would be happy with this clip. Look at that 3D clip, very well inserted. Lanyard hole, big lanyard hole for those of you who uses lanyard. Still insert. Look at this engagement, 20-25%. Steel insert that you can chain, so you have here a contact metal against metal. What can I say? Look at this beautiful pivot, which is it's part of the integral. It's an integral pivot, very well integrated in the handle. Look at this nice touch here, this piece of copper just behind here, the pivot. What can I say? This is just a fantastic build. Fantastic build. The lock, I mean, it locks the blade like a vault. You have no movement whatsoever front to front, side to side. And try to hear that. No stickness whatsoever. And have you heard the detent? Look at that. I mean, if you really hardly push it, it will open. But look at that. You see, the detent is very strong. You don't, just bear in mind that it's not a flipper. It's a thumb opening. So if you want to have this action, you need to not to have a detent too strong. Otherwise, it will. I mean, you won't be able to open it with the thumb. So it's the perfect ratio for the detent. Look at that. You see that? Very, very, very nice detent for thumb opening. Now, we talked about the action. Just one more time. Have you seen that? I mean, it's literally buttery smooth. And the thing that I like the most in this knife, I mean, I like everything, but the thing that I like the most is the ingenuity that he had doing this oval hole, but half hole actually. It's just drilled inside the blade, and you see that the finish here is a bead blast. So that gives a very, very nice contrast with the hand rub that you have here. Hand rub, by the way, which has the quality of a David Moser hand rub or even Salmon Arrow. So that speaks volume about what I think of Jerome, you see. So inside the hole, you see this contrast in bead blast. But what I wanted to say is that here he didn't use, you know, the oval hole like the Striders, or it's not a full hole. So that, I mean, it's a win-win. You have the opportunity to open the blade as if it was a hole, because you don't need to have a full hole per se to open the blade. You just need to have the contour here that brings, you know, that gives you some grip for your thumb. And so you can use it as if it was an oval hole actually, and yet it's not a full hole. So that brings you something very, very nice, which is the oval hole here with the bead blast here. And even more, that brings you an asymmetrical grind, because on the other side, look at that. Look at this splendor. You have a full sterile blade like that, which has a grind that can be totally different than this side. And so you have two things to adore with this blade. You have this side, which here you can see here the line that is straight here, another line here which is straight, and here this oval hole that you can see. Have you seen that? I mean, it's not a full flat. You see this line here just up above here. It's a second grind, you see. Also here you have this harpoon, which is just excellent. And if you can see that here, it has a mirror polish. Yeah, you see the reflection. It's actually, you see some lines, so it's more of a high polish than a mirror polish. But the contrast here on the first edge, look at my finger here, you see the reflection of my finger. The contrast with this high polish and the hand rubbed and the bead blast here. I mean, you have three tones: bead blast, hand rubbed, high polish here, Here also another bead blast here on the spine. This is just absolutely excellent, excellent, excellent. So as I said, you have a beautiful grind here on this side, and you have the opportunity on the other side to have a totally different grind. Look at this line, which has more of a curve. It's not as straight as you can see here on this two lines here straight. Here you have a nice curve. Again, you have this beautiful two grinds here. You have here the flat and another flat. Actually, it's not a hollow grind here, but you can see that the lines really separates this grind from this one. And here again, the harpoon and the beautiful high polish here on the first edge, if you see the reflection of my finger here. So that blade is just excellent on both sides. And what is to say about this spine? Again, that looks like the spine of this, I don't know, whatever animal whatever animal you thought. And for sure it brings you some very nice grip, very nice jimping for the grip. To be perfectly honest with you, you might think that this knife is huge. It's 3.5-inch blade, but the thing is that the integral gives you the possibility to be very thin. And also Jerome wanted the knife to be also thin and not that large, so it can be used really as an EDC. And believe me, when you see it like that, you might think that it's big, but you know, let me try to compare it with what do I have here. Yeah, all my knives are in the safe because I'm on holiday. Look at that. That's a mini skirmish. Believe me, it's not at all the full-size skirmish. So you see, the overall length might be slightly the same, or even, you know, the mini skirmish might be slightly smaller. But look at the blade. You see that you could think that this mini skirmish dwarfs this knife. That is because the overall length is the same, the blade length is the same also, but it's more way larger on the mini skirmish. So very again, very pocketable, very nice and slim knife, very nice to carry in hand. Oh, my friend, you would be so happy with this knife. I mean, you can literally use it as an EDC. You know, for small cutting tasks, the Tanto is absolutely perfect with the first edge. Here you have a very nice kind of recurve, and you have a small recurve here for, you know, for slicing here. For penetrating, I mean, the Tanto is just excellent for penetrating with this harpoon also here, so that can be used also as a tactical knife. It carries very nicely in the pocket. Look at this very deep carry clip here. You have everything that you would need for an artistic knife, for an EDC, for a tactical knife, because as I said, believe me, my friend, this knife is rock solid. You have to understand that it's a very I mean, sturdy knife with this integral. So it has so many qualities that I mean, I could spend way more than the 15 minutes that I allow myself to speak on YouTube, really more than that, to tell you all the good things that I think about this knife, and that any one of you would think of. So I have only 1 minute. Look at this centering, it's spot on. Only 1 more minute to tell you that I'm sure that Jerome will rise and rise and rise, and I can just tell you one thing. Just try your best to be in touch with him. Try to send him an email. Check if he can make you a knife while you can have a, you know, while he can, because I'm sure that this guy is going to be very busy very soon, and me, I'm absolutely overwhelmed. So I'm gonna stop here and hope that you enjoyed this knife as I do and enjoyed this video. I will check it and see if it has any sense, otherwise you won't see it on YouTube. But I hope that I just conveyed all the good things that I think about this knife, and really hope that most of you will have the chance to get one day, one of these beautiful nights. Bye-bye, my friends, and I'll catch you for another video very soon. Bye-bye.